we're all just a bunch of sheep, man. We're being lied to so much at every turn. It's just crazy.
Yep, and it gets worse every day.
And I hate to say it, but this is our last chance. This is the turning point. If we don't stand up now, we're going to be screwed.
And
we're going to be in World War III. We're going to be in war with Iran. Yep. Hillary is going to let Israel attack Palestine and kill a couple 100,000 Palestinians. She already wanted to destroy Syria for Israel. I post every day footage of children being killed because Hillary Clinton wanted to destroy Syria for Israel. Well, I just read a statistic today that really pissed me off. If you were to read the list of the children killed in Syria in their quote-unquote civil war that doesn't exist, it would take you over 19 hours just reading names. Think about how many little kids that is, whose blood is on Hillary Clinton's hands. Where'd they get the chemical weapons from? Hillary Clinton let them ship them in. We just turned it away. Look, because Hillary Clinton wanted the world to believe that Assad was using those weapons on his own people.
Yeah.
The same. It's all false flag bullshit. Just like 9/11 was. Just like Oklahoma City was. Just like I just learned. We discussed it a couple episodes ago about Israel attacking the United States in 1967 on June 8th.
Yep.
Now go to GPR. I don't know if you put it on the website or not. It's on the Facebook page, and watch the document. I wouldn't call it a documentary. It's only about 5 minutes. I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah.
About how Israel attacked a United States warship. I want to say it was a battleship. I'm not 100% certain on that. And wanted to kill everybody aboard, sink it, nobody get away, and blame it on Egypt so they could suck the United States into the war, just like Pearl Harbor. We're being led by evil people. And even when you have a good person as a leader, good people have handlers. I don't believe when Barack Obama ran for president that he was a bad guy.
He certainly didn't seem like it.
He certainly didn't. You can listen to Barack Obama talk about Hillary Clinton in 2008, and you'd think he's talking about somebody different right now.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Well, it's funny, there's a video out there all over YouTube for a while of, I think it came out right around the time of the Democratic National Convention. Michelle Obama, 8 years ago saying Hillary Clinton shouldn't be anywhere near the White House. I don't trust her. She's just a worthless, piece of shit.
She'll say anything and change nothing.
The quote, I remember the exact quote now at the end was, if she can't be trusted to run her own house, how can she be trusted to run the White House?
Right.
But now, 8 years later, they're all over Hillary, yeah.
He's the most qualified person ever. That's what he said.
Yep.
You can't make me believe that Barack Obama really believes that. You can't make me believe that Barack Obama really believes that election fraud didn't happen.
He's not an idiot.
He's not stupid.
No.
Oh, he's probably pretty close to a genius intellectually.
Yeah.
But he's owned. They own him. They own Hillary. They don't own Bernie, and that's why Bernie got screwed, because he would not let them buy him. And I want to talk about Bernie Sanders for a minute here real quick while I'm on the subject.
Yeah, that was a big part of why we wanted to do this show. Yeah, so.
I'm getting pissed off. Look, I take that back. I've been pissed off for a long time. But
yeah, you're way past getting.
I am not losing my sense of outrage because I am outraged. I'm hearing so many people trying to say that even if they bring Bernie back, that they're going to vote for Jill Stein. Really?
Yeah.
Are you really being an honest person when you tell me that you are a burner, and if Hillary Clinton steps down and they give Bernie the nomination, that you're not going to vote for him? You were never a burner to begin with, okay?
No,
Let's be clear. This is not a matter of opinion. This is not just what I think. If you were a true Bernie Sanders fan, which fan is short for fanatic, and that's fine. I don't care what people say. If Bernie Sanders is on the ticket, you vote for him, unless you've got some ulterior motives.
Yeah, how do you not? I mean, and hey, the name of the show is Green Party Radio. Let's get that out right now. We love the Green Party. Jill Stein has a great platform. The thing is, Bernie basically running on a Green Party platform if you come right down to it.
They have a lot of the same ideas, absolutely.
Yeah,
But don't remember, no, Don, it's not Bernie running on the Green Party platform because the Green Party didn't exist when Bernie Sanders started saying the things he's been saying.
Well,
there was no Green Party back in the 70s, not as far as I know. We didn't have a Green Party in 1970.
Oh,
okay,
that's
and
true.
Bernie Sanders has been saying the same thing. Okay, so the Green Party has jumped on the Bernie Sanders wagon as far as being progressive. Which is, I wouldn't even call it jumping on coattails or bandwagon or any of that because it's common freaking sense. Okay, the Green Party has common sense, but Bernie Sanders had to have common sense first. So,
no doubt. No, I'm not saying like something like he stole their platform or hey, that's a great idea. No, he's been the same for, like you said, for 40 years. He's been this way. But I'm just saying, pretty much identical platforms and identical thoughts and ideas for the most part. And that's why so many people, when Bernie got screwed out of the nomination, that's why so many people, joined the Green Party. That's why we did it. That's why this show exists.
Absolutely.
If we couldn't have Bernie, Dr. Jill Stein is the next best thing because her platform is basically the same thing Bernie's been saying for 40 years.
Sure. Let me reiterate the mission statement of this radio program.
Please do.
Well, one is to report the truth that the mainstream media refuses to report. 2, promote Jill Stein. And 3, keep Hillary Clinton out of the White House.
That is it.
Because we can't let that woman in.
No, we cannot.
We're going to war, people, if she becomes president. And I don't mean a no-fly zone in Syria, which would require boots on the ground. Okay, we can't just fly and say, okay, nobody flies here. You got to have boots on the ground to support that no-fly zone. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about all-out freaking war. Because, hey, guess what? Syria doesn't have an air force, per se. What planes are we telling they can't fly in Syria? Russian planes. Russian planes that are flying from Iran. Okay? So, let's make the logical steps here. If we create a no-fly zone in Syria, we piss off the Russians and the Iranians. Where does that lead us? It leads us into World War III. That's where it goes. Tactical nukes. Well, what follows a tactical nuke? A full-on nuke. And they wouldn't care. They've got bunkers. The elite, they'll survive it.
Oh,
now, I'm not saying that's what they want to. I'm not saying that's what they want to happen. Because it would destroy our planet for a long time, and they'd have to live underground. That's not what they want. They'd rather we just all up and died.
Yeah.
They don't need ants anymore. They have enough wealth. They don't need us to create their wealth anymore. They've got it. all the wealth that they can possibly spend in 100 lifetimes they've got.
Yeah.
You know, I think I read somewhere that the Rothschilds were worth in excess of like $500 trillion. That's a ridiculous amount.
Sounds about right.
A ridiculous amount of money that you can't spend in 100 lifetimes. I mean, they could pay off America's debt if they wanted to and call it chump change. They're so fucking rich.
They could pay off every country's debt on the planet and still have a couple $100 trillion probably left over.
But who does everybody owe? If every country in the world is in debt, who are we in debt to? I'll tell you,
China.
The Rothschilds. So we're in debt to the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and, you know, because they own everything. Why do you think Muammar Gaddafi was murdered? Because he was going to get away from. He was going to get away from the petrodollar. You know, they didn't just want his gold. Now, that was just well, if we're going to kill him, we might as well take his gold. You know, he was going to create a banking system in Africa. Because in case a lot of people don't understand, Libya's in Africa. Okay, we got a lot of dumbasses out there. But listen, Gaddafi was going to create a banking system for Africa that was not based on the petrodollar.
No, that's why I said his gold. Not that they were coming to steal his gold, because basically he wanted a currency based on the gold standard. He had lots of gold.
That's right.
Like you said, he was tired of
used to
paper printed money that means nothing.
But also, it used to be that way in the United States.
That's what I said. It used to be we were on the gold standard. It wasn't just this printed paper money that's really worthless. You know, who was it? Nixon took us off the gold standard. So.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure who it was, but I'm going to take your word on it.
99% sure it was Nixon. And Gaddafi wanted to go. He wanted to go on it because he had a whole shitload of gold. You know, he was happy. He wanted all of Africa to be on the gold standard.
That's why he was collecting the gold. He was collecting the gold to get away from the petrodollar. You know, Gaddafi, people talk about what an evil dictator he was. Look at what was going on in Libya before we attacked Libya. They had free health care. You know, Libya wasn't a bad place to live. You can't go by the lies that were being told. You would have to actually gone there because nobody was going to admit the truth.
Well, back in the let's say the 70s probably, there was I think his name was General Tito running Yugoslavia. When it was still Yugoslavia. They still had Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia. It was all in the Yugoslavia, and it was a communist country. And of course, you know, our hated enemies, you know, it was just horrible, you know, communism, blah blah blah. They sucked. And I don't know if you ever got to meet my old boss from the hospital, Dorothy. She came here from Yugoslavia. She was a Serb, you know, she was Serbian, but it was still all Yugoslavia. And that's where she grew up, you know, lived as a young adult. Right. And she said, you know, they lived in a village, they had a farm. She said basically it was no different than living here. It was basically no difference. Living under, you know, a totalitarian communist regime, as they called it here, you know, and actually living here, land of the free, home of the brave, blah, blah, blah.
Land of the think you're free.
Yeah. They sell, freedom sells.
Mm-hmm. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose or something like that?
Nothing. That's all it Bobby left me. Yeah. Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee.
The only people in this country that are free are the homeless. Yeah, everybody else is in debt. Which is the way they want you. They want you to live your life in debt.
Yep.
That's why, you know, you go to college, get a 4-year degree, and you can't find a $12 an hour job.
Yeah.
They want you $50,000 in debt to start career.
Yep.
if not more.
Which is ridiculous because most of the other civilized, not even big superpower, but let's say, modern countries in the world, you go to college for free. You don't pay to go to college. Just like you don't pay to go to high school here.
Yep.
Most of the other decent countries in the world, you don't pay to go to college. But,
of course not.
They also don't have, multi-billionaires and trillionaires in their country hoarding up all the money while, the workers make nothing. They have $16, $17 an hour minimum wages with paid sick leave, paid vacations, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have that here. People,
Right.
People want to call it socialism, but
what's wrong with socialism?
I don't know. It's a bad word here.
I know it used to be. It's becoming less stigmatic.
Well, as more younger people come up and they see that, socialist-based, with some capitalism, no doubt. I mean, you need, socialism in its purest form, we don't really want it because then the government owns everything. They own the factories.
Well, now there's different kinds. There are different kinds of pure socialism. There isn't just one type of pure.
Yeah.
It's like there's not one type of pure capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But all it takes is some common sense. Let the people. Money's the root of all evil, and when money is the ultimate goal of capitalism, we've been playing Monopoly since we were kids.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crony capitalism. Because how do you win at Monopoly? You take everybody's money and all their property. That's how you win at Monopoly.
Yeah.
Last man standing wins. So that's the new American capitalism. The model for American capitalism is monopoly. Keep everybody living on Baltic and Mediterranean while you got Boardwalk and Park Place.
Yep.
Once upon a time, capitalism in the United States wasn't such a bad thing because it was capitalism with compassion. When you didn't have cities with 10 million people in it.
No,
you could
pretty
care
much
about
everybody. Not everybody, but most people.
If you got sick and went to the doctor, you paid what you could. If all you had was 2 chickens, that's what you gave the doctor.
Well, the difference was back then, most people owned their own land,
Mm-hmm.
They could have
They were
couple pigs, couple chickens, couple cows, yeah.
People were
self-sustaining.
People were self-sustaining.
Yep. And that's not the case anymore. All the land has been turned into these super corporate mega farms that are just thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. When we were growing up, we were living in Indiana, the Benedicts had 700 or 800 acres, And, Jeannie's dad's passed away. He's gone now, but it's gone. Jeannie sold it because he's like, it made him an offer he can't refuse,
Right.
Come in and farm the land a lot easier than he could.
Yeah. And when they do that, they put everybody out of work, and people have no choice but to go to the cities to look for work. So they group everybody up in the cities and let them drink lead water and keep them stupid.
Yeah.
And make them violent and put them in prison.
Not own any land. They live in apartments, or rented houses.
I mean, I hear people saying they want to go back to that. They want to go back to the point where you have to be a landowner to vote. Really? I mean, can you think of a more racist idea than that?
I probably could, but it would take me a while. I don't think I could do it before the show's over. It would. I'd have to do some serious searching for that one. I mean, yeah, outside of just going back to slavery, I mean,
I don't want slavery, dude.
I don't want to. That's what I was about to say. I don't want to downplay slavery. It was horrible. That's all you can say. It was horrible. But dude, we're not that far away from it now. You know, we don't get whipped by the massa if we don't do our work, you know, but we starve, you know.
Right. You know, they want to take funding away from education and give it to corporations. Why? So they can keep us stupid, so they can control us. It's all about control.
It's all about living
Knowledge
in
is
corporate
power. They don't want
oligarchy.
it to have. They want it to have power. What's that?
It says all about living in a corporate oligarchy.
Mm-hmm. They dangle carrots in front of us.
Corporations own the country because they own the politicians. You said, how do people that do nothing but be in Congress for 30 years? How are they multi-millionaires? I mean, they pay themselves well, but it's only like $150,000 a year, $175,000, something like that. But when you got lobbyists paying you, hundreds of thousands of dollars, hey, it's easy to make money.
Yeah, what's Mitch McConnell worth right now? A couple $100 million?
Right. Way more than he should be.
That's your senator, isn't it?
Yes, he is. I can't understand why.
I can't say much. I got Mary Fallon as a governor. I can't say much.
McConnell's average wealth $22.8 million.
$22.8 million. That's an annual
senator. No, that's his average wealth, they called it.
Oh, okay.
I guess, on average every year that's about what he's worth.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. But what's crazy? He's only the 10th richest
Not a bad
senator.
living. Not a bad living. We're having 30 weeks off a year.
I said there's 9 senators worth more than that $22.8 million.
We're gonna have to stand up.
People keep voting the same people in, and let's go back, to Bernie for a minute. So many of these people are like us that are in the Green Party now because grew out of Bernie, But until we have a viable third party in this country to keep the other two parties in check, it's going to be same old. Because they're happy, going with each other, and we'll let you win this year, you can win next year.
Don, when Britain did their damn exit?
Yeah.
And they all had to vote. They all voted on it, right?
Well,
did you know that was all? I mean, it was
an exit from whatever the exit was. It was from the European Union. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't a damn exit, but when they voted, it was all done on paper ballots.
That's the way every election should be.
There were no machines. They were done with paper ballots, and they were hand counted. It's really not that hard. We can't do that. It would take too long. Bullshit. The only reason we use electronic voting machines is so they can cheat. That's the only reason.
The only reason.
Sorry. The only reason.
It would take too long to count paper ballots. We're electing the fucking president of the most powerful country in the world. Basically, you're electing the most powerful person in the world. You don't think you should take the time to actually do it on paper ballots and see who the people actually voted for? It's disgusting.
Oh. But it might take 24 hours for us to find out. Well, big whoop.
Yeah, the election's in November. The inauguration isn't until January. You got 2 months.
Yeah, and it only takes a day.
Yeah.
It took them a day to count those ballots in Britain.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what the total number of ballots was. It was. I don't want to give way off information. I want to say 12 million or something like. Don't quote me. I can't remember. And granted, there's a lot fewer ballots to count than you have in the presidential election.
Oh, sure.
But there's also a lot more people here to count them. You know, if you need one person to count 100 ballots, or 10 people to count 1,000, or 100 people to count 10,000, what's the difference? It's the same amount of time.
Just real quick, while the page is loading, it seems as if there were 33 million votes cast. Yeah.
33 million?
Should the United Kingdom leave the European Union? Yeah, there were 33,551 ballots cast. And you know what? That's
how long it took them to
That's
and
not
how long
a
did it
whole lot
take to
left.
count? It's not a shitload less because so few people in the United States vote. You know?
Yeah, 33 million. I mean, it might be double of that. You know, because so many people here. So many people here don't vote.
Well, look at it this way. What Bernie Sanders said in the last election, 63% didn't vote. That means 37% did. Okay, so we're talking 100 million people. So if 100 million people voted in the United States and 33 million voted in Britain, we used 3 times as many people to count the ballots and take the same amount of time to do it. Done. Big whoop. The only reason we use electronic machines is so they can cheat.
There were about 127 million votes in the last presidential election. So about 4 times about 4 times what Britain had.
We use 5 times as many people and count it quicker.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about hurrying up and finding out who won, because it doesn't matter. Like you said, the election's in November. The inauguration's in January. We've got time. Who cares if it takes 2 or 3 days to count all the ballots? It gives the news networks plenty to talk about.
Sure.
While they're adding up the ballots.
By the way, it was called Brexit. That's what it was called.
Brexit. There you go. I'm trying to remember the stupid word. Brexit.
Yeah, pretty stupid, but I guess Britain exit, shorten it Brexit. I don't know.
That works. And so how do we make the change? I've said it 100 times. And I quote Bernie Sanders when I say it. When millions of people stand up and say enough is enough, we win.
So what's going to take is a civil revolt.
Yeah.
Not a violent, overthrow.
It doesn't have to be
country.
violent.
And like I said, people. Well, I don't want people extremists saying, "Oh, you can't just, overthrow the government," which you couldn't. I mean, the military. Hell, the government spends more than half the money they have on the military. There's no overthrowing the United States government militarily. It's got to be
right.
Civil disobedience. Same way, the same way that black folks now have civil rights.
Civil disobedience.
Dr. King led them in civil disobedience. He sat down at the lunch counter and said, "Screw you! I'm going to sit here. There's nothing you can do about it. It's my right as an American."
Through peaceful protest.
Yep.